So this is the part where we're going to do a live demonstration of the Eventene application. And so the reason we do this, we're doing this a little bit separate. And if you're listening to the podcast, there is also going to be a video streaming of this available at Scoutcast LA. So if you go to Scoutcast LA right now, you can actually follow along on the desktop or on the computer what we're doing as we're talking about it. So, okay, Dave, say it.
All right. So what we're looking at here is the dashboard of an account. So this is a demo account. So there's showing that there's 17 events and 27 lists. And the major paradigm of the app is that an event is like a file. You open it up, and it has all the details of the event. And then the lists are separate. Those are the lists of people, the groups of people, and the sections that contain places that you're going to assign people into. So those are kept separately. That way you can reuse the lists over and over in your events. Okay, so let's take a look at a sample event. We're going to bring up this annual dinner banquet. This is a good example. And this is actually the sample.
This could be like a court of honor or,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And the reason we're showing you this one first is because anytime you create an account in Eventene, this is the sample event that appears in your account.
Oh, got it.
Exactly this one. So we'll just kind of walk through it. Yes, but this could represent a court of honor. It could even represent a weekly troop meeting if you wanted to do that. Okay, so the first thing we're seeing on this is essentially the summary of the event. So at a glance, we can see who has responded. And in this case, we can see that 12 people have said they're coming. 3 have said no, and we have not yet heard from 9 people. And then we can also see the 24 people there. That just tells us how many people have been invited to the event, and that there are 12 places, meaning these are places that you can assign people into.
Okay, like tables.
Yeah, like tables. So we'll show you how that works. And there are 3 activities that make up this event. So let's go ahead and click on the activities, and you can see how we break it down. Now you can think of activities as a list making up the itinerary of your event, but your actual itinerary may be more detailed than this. But think of this as these are the levels at which you will assign different groups and subgroups of people to invite them to different areas of the event. Okay, so in this case, we have a dinner banquet, which consists of 3 activities: a social gathering at 6 p.m., followed by a sit-down dinner at 7:30, and then followed by, after that, we have an activity where you can, take tours, and we will explore Santa Monica Pier. And so this particular event is one in such that we might want to ask every single person who's said they are coming to the dinner if they would like to also do the exploring Santa Monica Pier. And so you can ask that separately if you want. And right now you can see under the attendance column, it's showing how that each activity is linked. And what that means is that it's linked to the overall decision whether you're coming to the event. But if you click on the activity, you can see that, and we go under attendance, you can actually change that to ask if attending for this one particular activity. And then when they are RSVPing, they'll get a separate question. Will you be attending the Exploring Santa Monica Pier?
When you turn your head to me, make sure you bring your mic too.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So now let's go into the tracking area. So in this case, we have already sent out the invitation. So now we're tracking to see who has responded. So we can see that there are 12 yeses, 3 nos, and if I click on the yes, for example, under attendance, it brings out a side panel showing me all the people.
Everybody that said yes.
Yeah. And then I can close that. If I want more detailed information, I can click on the individual mode, which brings up what looks like a spreadsheet. It kind of acts like a spreadsheet, but we're in a database now. So you get the advantages of a database. So if you click on one of these, you can bring up the details on the right. You can even open up somebody's survey. So if somebody were to go ahead and, let's open that up. If somebody were to verbally tell you they were coming, you could go in and open their survey as if you were them and answer for them. When you're done taking the survey, you can also add the event to your personal calendar. There's a few things you can do. Or you can also go over to the details tab and look at, you can see where the location is. You can navigate there, and you see all of the notes that the organizer has given you. Okay, so back to the
And
app.
I think that's great that if someone doesn't actually use the app, but they still tell you, because I often I will get evites to something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm coming, but I never respond to the evite.
That's right.
Because I'm a horrible person. This still gives you the option of correcting for that.
Well, it turns out that most events have horrible people in them. No, I'm just kidding. No. So in this case, yes, if somebody. Oh, and I should also mention that we have removed as much friction as possible to ease the and support the RSVP process, the responses. And so when the recipients, the participants of the event receive an email, it's just a single link. They click on it. It launches a web browser that works easily in a mobile device or a full desktop, and they can do it anywhere in the world. And it just takes a few clicks to respond.
Nice.
Okay, so back to the event, and now we're tracking. Notice how you can see first name, last name, a list. If we click on a single activity like social gathering or dinner banquet, let's look at the dinner banquet. You can see how there's a meal choice there, and they could tell you that they're vegetarian, chicken, or seafood. That just happened to be one of the questions we were asking them. If they're going to have dinner, what would be their entree? So that's a very typical scenario. And you could go in and edit this directly if they told you after you cut off the survey that you could go in and change that if you wanted to. But let's say now you want to make a nice report out of this. You can easily grab the information and put it on the clipboard under actions there. You can say copy the whole thing to the clipboard, or you can export it as a CSV file, and you immediately have all your data.
Got it.
So we make it very easy to get the data out of the system. Let's look at one more example event. If we go back to events, let's take a look at a camp out to Angeles Forest. Now, this might be a little more applicable to scout troops and packs.
Although I think the last one was, because I could think of 3 or 4 different events that my pack would do that last one would have fit.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay, so this one, let's say, represents a monthly camp out that a trooper pack might go to. And let's click into the activities, and you can see that if we look at the list of activities for this particular event, you can see now it's a much more complicated event. There are a lot more moving parts. So back at the dinner party, you can have an event that has a single activity, meaning dinner, or the meeting. But this one, you notice how it also spans 2 days. It starts on a Saturday, and then it ends on a Sunday. And you start off with who's coming, so you have an attendance roster, and then you have the drive to camp out, which if you look closely, you can see you have a list of people, which in this case are the passengers, and then you have a set of drivers.
Yeah.
So here's an area, so that drivers list is maintained in the list area we talked about earlier, and they represent all of the carpools. And then once you're done deciding if everybody's responded and they've said, okay, these scouts are coming, and these drivers are driving, now it's time to assign them. And okay, we're looking at a list right here, and we can look at the items, so we can see, actual drivers. We can see what the name of their vehicle is,
and how many seats it holds.
And if you click on the layout, you can notice how you can add any number of custom fields that you want to capture things that might be useful. In this case, drivers, maybe the name of their car, how many seats they are, the year of their car. The color might be helpful.
If you've got a bunch of Honda Priuses, if you've got a bunch of Toyota Priuses, it would be nice to know, it's the blue one
that's right.
is hers. And
that's right. And it's up to you as the organizer to add as many fields as you want. And then going back to the event, let's do an assignment, for example. If we go well, you know what? Let's go back to the dinner party assignment. I think we've got a better setup for that one. So let's just take a quick look. But if we go into assignment and we do dinner banquet, okay. So this one shows that you have tables, and you are now. This is a very common scenario: who's sitting with whom at what table. So in this case, we created a section list or a list of places, and we call them tables. Tables 1, 2, all the way up to, I don't know, you can have 100, and you can add as many seats as you want for each table, and then you just drag people in and put them into the table. Now, likewise, if it's a carpool, these boxes, these places represent cars, and you would then just move the passengers into the car.
Now, if I was going to this event and I had the app on my phone, could I go, oh, who am I sitting at a table with?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's if we...
Crazy Aunt
Yeah.
Edna.
I know. They can do it either of two ways. That web form that they initially did the response from also becomes their personalized view into the event. So it has the details, it has the questions, and the third part, it has the assignments. So you click on the assignments and it would show you who you're sitting with. Now in this case it says no assignments because we haven't actually made an assignment yet. But this is where you would see the information.
Mm-hmm.
And then likewise in the mobile app, there's a section called assignments. You click it, it shows you who are your fellow passengers and who's your driver.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, this is specific, is there a way to, like if you wanted to note, let's say, who was YPT trained?
Yep.
Would there be a way to do that?
Yep. You could, in the list itself, you could create a permanent field,
Mm-hmm.
YPT trained, yes or no. And that way, whenever you attach that list to an event, you can always bring that up on the sheet.
Okay, great.
And you can, the other thing about your lists, if you have 100 people in your troop roster or your pack roster, you can segment that list out. You can create subgroups of people, and they are rule-based. So as people come in and change, all those subgroups change automatically. They're like smart lists. So an example of that would be you start with a roster that includes all the parents, so the mothers, the fathers, all the parents, and the scouts, the kids. You can have a subgroup of just scouts, of just fathers, just mothers, just parents.
And then you could also do subgroup of different patrols.
That's right.
Like,
different
patrols.
patrols. And you can combine them. You can say, this is the Bruins patrol, this is the Seminoles patrol, and I would like a sublist of Bruins and the Seminoles so that I can then invite them to one particular activity.
Yeah, they are responsible for KP or something at the end, and that's their activity.
That's right.
Is cleaning up the campsite or...
That's right.
So
yeah, so we make it very easy to maintain, dozens of subgroups off of a main group. So that's I know it's a little technical, but it's important to realize that's not we're not copying the data, because otherwise that would be very unwieldy if somebody's email changed.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things that once you do it once, everything will make sense for the next time you do it, and everything becomes exponentially easier. Oh,
that's right. Repeating a camp out is as simply as just copying the entire event, and starting over and sending out the same invitation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All of that setup work is done. Let's show that. Let's go ahead and show creating a brand new event. So we'll just do a copying an event. So in this case, we're going to copy the dinner banquet. That's a good one. Yeah, and then let's give it another.
I don't see my name on that list, by the way. I guess I wasn't invited, but whatever.
Well, we can change that pretty quickly.
Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I'll take beef, by the way.
All right. I'm sorry, beef is not an option.
Oh!
Awesome dinner banquet. There we go. All right, so give it a date in the future. And let's say, it's April 6th. Saturday.
I'm busy that day.
Notice how a location, by the way. Let's change the location from the Georgian Hotel to, I don't know, call it. How about Casa del Mar, just down the street. Hotel. Notice how it's hitting Google and automatically
and gives you a map
location
right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can also preserve all previous responses, or you can clear them out. So you can start over. But sometimes it's nice to actually preserve some of them, like maybe the previous responses to survey questions, so they don't have to redo that. They can just change them.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that actually this will take GPS coordinates too. So if you're doing a camp out where there's not a fixed site, it's super useful, because then they can go to the exact location.
Oh, nice.
If it's out in the middle of the woods and there's not a clear mark.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It'll handle latitude, longitude, and in fact, we had a camp out in Camp Pendleton last year, and I don't know if you know this about Camp Pendleton, but the street addresses actually aren't real.
Who knew, really?
Right? So you try to navigate with your regular GPS, and you will go nowhere. I mean, it is like phantom. So if you put a latitude, longitude, though, you can drop them to the exact building they're supposed to go to.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right. So I think that's about it. Is there anything else you can think of?
No, I mean, I'm just watching this thinking, wow, it's so, the questions that I've had, there are things that I've mentioned. So
you can see it's fairly easy to use.
Yeah.
We have a full help center as well in case, and going through it the first time might take a little bit of getting used to as like where things are. But once you start learning the app, it's very easy to find your way around.
Now, if you had someone, so let's say I got invited to something, but I'm not interested in downloading the app onto my phone, that's not a hindrance.
Not a requirement at all. The mobile app is completely optional. So if you receive an invitation from somebody, it is an email. You click the link and it launches a browser. No application. There's no installation required.
And the same with like the survey at the end. I don't have to.
No, the survey is part of the web browser.
So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, great. No, I think this is. I'm looking forward to trying to use this for a couple of my projects.
Excellent. Well, we'll be there to help you out.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Once again, this was David Wood and Sam Deffenbaugh from Eventene.
Thank you.
All right.